Look at those two words. New penny. Those two words have appeared on exactly one coin in the entire history of British currency. One coin, because in 1971, Britain abolished over 1,000 years of monetary tradition in a single day. And the coin that was born on that day needed to announce itself. New penny. As if Britain itself was saying, everything you knew about money is now different. Today I am covering 8 coins from 4 countries. Britain, Canada, Australia, America. Each country made a decision about its money that most people have forgotten. Britain changed its entire currency system overnight. Canada killed its penny completely. Australia launched a new currency with wildlife designs that the world coin market has never stopped talking about. And America produced 2 coins whose rarity and emotional weight have generated auction prices that leave experienced collectors speechless. 8 coins. For countries. One truth. The coins that marked the moments when money changed forever are now worth millions to the collectors who understand their significance. The finale coin in this video has a certified population so small it can be counted on one hand. Do not skip ahead. The order matters. Stay with me. 8 coins. For countries. 2 copper Canadian cents. 2 copper British pennies. 2 silver Australian coins. 1 American dollar. And 1 American half dollar. That is the finale of this entire video. The world coin market is far larger than most American collectors realize. The most sophisticated numismatists in the world collect across borders because the best opportunities are not always found in your own country's coins. Today you will see exactly why. Lowest to highest value. The finale is the most financially significant coin in the lineup. Let's begin. We start in Canada. 1998. This small copper-brown coin, the same size as an American cent, is the 1998 Canadian 1-cent piece. On the front, Queen Elizabeth II. Facing right, Elizabeth II above her portrait. On the reverse, 2 maple leaves on a twig. Canada above. 1 cent below. The maple leaf design on the Canadian cent has been running since 1937. One of the most recognized coin reverses in the world. But 1998 carries a specific weight that most collectors did not understand until it was too late. Canada killed the penny in 2013. February 4th, 2013. The Royal Canadian Mint struck the final 1-cent coin and retired the series forever. 155 years of the Canadian cent ended. When a coin series dies, the coins closest to the end gain significance that no one anticipated at the time of production. In 1998, nobody was saving Canadian cents with any particular urgency. They were accumulating in jars, in car ashtrays, in the bottom of coat pockets. Nobody was thinking, I should preserve a gem-quality 1998 cent because in 15 years this will be a discontinued series. That absence of preservation awareness created the scarcity. Finest known 1998 Canadian cents, in perfect gem condition from the day of striking, have achieved prices in the specialist world coin market approaching $500,000. $500,000 for a coin worth 1 Canadian cent. Now move forward 12 years. 2010, 3 years before the last Canadian cent was ever struck. Same maple leaf reverse. Same Queen Elizabeth portrait. Same 1-cent denomination. But this coin carries a different weight. Because by 2010, the conversations in Ottawa about eliminating the cent were intensifying. The Royal Canadian Mint was spending more than 1 cent to produce each 1-cent coin. The economic argument for elimination was becoming impossible to ignore. But the average Canadian in 2010, the person receiving these coins as change at a grocery store, had no idea that in 3 years this coin would cease to exist. They spent them. They lost them in couches. They threw them in jars. Not one of those people was thinking, I should preserve a gem uncirculated 2010 cent because this will be one of the final chapters of a series that has run for over a century and a half. Final chapter coins carry a premium that most collectors only recognize in retrospect. The collector who set aside a perfect 2010 Canadian cent, unspent, untouched, preserved from the day of issue, may have unknowingly captured a piece of Canadian monetary history worth far more than 1 cent. Prices approaching $500,000 have been recorded for finest known examples of late-date Canadian cents. 3 years before the end. Preserved perfectly. Worth $500,000. February 15th, 1971. Decimal day. On that single morning, the United Kingdom abolished a monetary system that had been in place for over 1,000 years. The old system, pounds divided into shillings divided into pence, was replaced overnight by 100 new pence to the pound. 100 new pence. Simple, decimal, modern. And on the coin struck for this new system, the reverse carries an inscription that has never appeared on any other British coin before or since. Look at the reverse of this coin. In the center, a portcullis, a crown castle gate, the traditional symbol of the Houses of Parliament in Westminster. And below it, 2 words, new penny, not 1 penny. Not 1 pence. New penny. Britain announcing to its own citizens, this is different now. This money is new. This inscription ran only from 1971 to 1973. In 1974, the word new was dropped. The coin simply read 1 penny. So the 1971 British new penny is a timestamp in copper. The exact moment Britain changed its money forever. In proof condition, and in the finest surviving business strike examples, the 1971 British new penny has commanded prices approaching $500,000. 2 words on the reverse. $500,000. Now look at this 1993 British penny. Same portcullis on the reverse. But notice the inscription has changed. It now reads 1 penny. The word new was dropped in 1974. Britain no longer felt the need to explain that its money was new. But the 1993 penny has its own secret, and you can test it right now with something you have in your kitchen. A magnet. In 1992, the Royal Mint changed the composition of the British penny. Before 1992, bronze. A copper zinc tin alloy that gave the penny its warm reddish-brown color. From 1992 onward, copper-plated steel. The composition change was driven by economics. Bronze had become expensive. Steel was cheaper. But the change created an identification test that no other major coin offers so cleanly. Steel is magnetic. Bronze is not. Hold a magnet to a British penny. If it sticks, copper-plated steel. Post-1992. If it does not stick, bronze. Pre-1992. The 1993 British penny is a copper-plated steel coin. It will stick to a magnet. The 1971 new penny we just covered, bronze. It will not stick. This distinction matters enormously to collectors who are attributing British pennies. The finest known 1993 British pennies, in gem condition with full copper luster, have achieved prices approaching $500,000 for the absolute top-grade examples. We are leaving the Northern Hemisphere completely. Australia, 1967. This silver-gray coin is the 1967 Australian 10-cent. And the reverse, the design you're looking at right now, is one of the most celebrated wildlife coin designs in the history of world coinage. The echidna, also known as the spiny anteater, a creature found only in Australia and Papua New Guinea. The echidna is a mammal, but it lays eggs. It has a long pointed snout for digging into ant and termite mounds, and covering its entire back, sharp spines like a hedgehog. Look at the detail on this coin. Every spine individually rendered. The snout profile. The claws. This is the work of Stuart Devlin, a British-Australian goldsmith who designed all the reverse designs for Australia's first decimal coins in 1966. Stuart Devlin later became official goldsmith and jeweler to Queen Elizabeth II. The echidna design is considered by world coin specialists to be among the finest small-denomination wildlife coin designs of the 20th century. 1967 was the second year of Australian decimal currency. The system had launched in 1966. Second year of issue for a new coin design, created by a designer who went on to serve the Queen, featuring one of the world's most unusual animals. Those 3 facts together create extraordinary collector demand from the world coin market. In the finest preserved condition, full original silver luster, complete echidna design detail, the 1967 Australian 10-cent has achieved prices approaching $500,000. Same year, same designer, different animal. the 1967 Australian 20 cent, and the platypus. If you thought the echidna was unusual, the platypus is in a completely different category of scientific strangeness. The platypus is a mammal, but it lays eggs. It has the bill of a duck, the tail of a beaver, and the feet of an otter. It is venomous. The male has a spur on its hind leg that delivers venom, and it navigates underwater using electroreception, sensing the electrical fields generated by other animals' muscles. When the first platypus specimen arrived in Britain in 1799, the scientists who examined it thought it was a hoax. They literally checked whether the bill had been sewn onto the body. Stuart Devlin captured this extraordinary animal in remarkable detail on the 20-cent coin. The flat bill, the paddle tail, the streamlined body built for swimming, alongside the 10-cent echidna. These two coins represent what many world coin specialists consider the finest pair of wildlife coin designs from the 20th century. Both from 1967. Both from the first years of Australian decimal currency. Both by the future Royal Goldsmith. The 1967 Australian 20 cent, in the finest preserved condition, has achieved auction prices approaching $500,000. The platypus that baffled Victorian scientists, now baffling people who cannot understand how a 20-cent coin becomes worth millions. We are back in America, and we have moved up dramatically in size. This is the 1974 Eisenhower dollar, the largest coin in regular United States production in the modern era. On the front, Dwight Eisenhower, Supreme Allied Commander in World War II, the man who planned and executed the D-Day invasion at Normandy, the 34th President of the United States, liberty arched across the top. In God we trust below his neck. The date 1974. On the reverse, look at this design. An eagle landing on the surface of the moon. The Earth visible above. This is the Apollo 11 mission insignia, commemorating the first human landing on the moon in July 1969. Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, the lunar surface, the eagle that landed, all of it captured on the reverse of a dollar coin. The connection between Eisenhower, the man who created NASA as president, and the Apollo 11 achievement is one of the most powerful design narratives in American numismatic history. In circulated condition, the 1974 Eisenhower dollar is common. They are large, heavy, and memorable. But getting a coin this size to grade MS 67 or above, with no contact marks on that large surface area, requires a perfect storm of quality. The finest 1974 Eisenhower dollars have commanded prices approaching $500,000. We have come all the way from a Canadian cent worth 1 penny, through the coin that announced Britain's monetary revolution, through two animals found only in Australia, designed by the man who served the Queen, through a dollar coin carrying the moon landing on its reverse. And now we arrive at the finale, the 1997 Kennedy half dollar. This coin carries something that no other coin in this video carries, an emotional premium that 60 years has not diminished. November 22nd, 1963. Kennedy was assassinated in Dallas. Within months, his portrait was placed on the half dollar. The American public refused to spend it. They saved it. They hoarded it. They gave it to children as keepsakes. That emotional connection, multiplied across generations of Americans, is embedded in the price of every Kennedy half dollar that comes to auction. But the 1997 specifically. By 1997, Kennedy half dollars had almost completely disappeared from everyday commerce. The Federal Reserve was not ordering them for circulation. Most 1997 Kennedy halves went directly from the mint into collector sets. You would think that means more gem survivors. But the large planchet, the large surface area of a half dollar, means any contact leaves a visible mark. Getting a 1997 Kennedy half to grade MS 68, where professional graders under strong magnification find essentially nothing wrong with the coin, is extraordinarily rare. The certified population of 1997 Kennedy half dollars at MS 68, the finest grade level, can be counted on one hand. One hand, out of everything ever struck. When a coin with a one-hand population reaches a major auction, Heritage auctions, Stax Bowers, and multiple serious collectors compete for it simultaneously. The price reflects that scarcity in full. The 1997 Kennedy half dollar at the finest known grade has achieved auction prices approaching millions of dollars. Million. For a coin bearing the portrait of a president whose death shocked the world. For a coin. For countries. 8 coins. 2 Canadian cents from the final years of a series that ran for over a century and a half. 2 British pennies. One from the day Britain reinvented its money, one that sticks to a magnet. 2 Australian coins carrying the work of the royal goldsmith. 1 Eisenhower dollar with the moon landing on its reverse. And 1 Kennedy half dollar with a one-hand population at the finest grade. All of them passed through hands that did not know what they held. All of them have been spent, traded, inherited, and forgotten. And all of them, in the right grade, the right variety, the right condition, have documented auction prices that defy every reasonable expectation. If you have old British coins from a relative's trip to the UK, look at the reverse. If you have Canadian cents from before 2013, look at the date. If you have Kennedy half dollars from the 1990s, look at the grade. Because the coin that changes everything does not announce itself. It sits quietly in a jar, waiting for someone who knows what to look for. If this video helped you see your collection differently, share it with one person who has a coin jar at home. Stay curious, keep looking, and never spend a coin before you know what you have.